They've played 3 quarterbacks every year for however long. Dillon Gabriel got to split the second team reps with Shedeur Sanders on Saturday, and there were some that are saying that Dillon Gabriel is the best thrower of the ball, that he might be in the mix. Is it possible that he somehow, Jason, is leapfrogging everybody and he's in the two?
G shaking his head no.
I know.
I disagree. They drafted Dillon to be the backup quarterback on this team. That's why they drafted
in the third round.
In the third round.
Yeah.
You can argue with the logic behind that.
I agree with that.
It was like how you spend a top 100 pick on a guy that you see as a backup quarterback when the team had that many holes. I think that's a fair criticism to have. Regardless, this was an organizational decision last year to take Dillon. They were all on board with it. He checked every analytics box that there was, and you know how much analytics drives this front office. So, and this idea that they were going to move out, G and I actually agreed on this, that I think Dillon's going to be here.
Yeah.
Dillon ain't going anywhere. And I absolutely think he's in play.
You say
number two.
Oh, okay.
That's where he and I probably
okay, the number two. You say number what?
No, I said is it possible he leapfrogs whoever is currently in the backup role into the number two. I'm not saying for a second he's going to be the starter.
No, I thought you were saying starter.
No.
Like, look,
I don't think anybody's made that argument. I haven't heard it.
Yeah,
no, like, not starter.
And look, Dillon Gabriel, and I said, and I've been clear. See, I'm a proponent of just calling what it is. If I go to practice and Dillon Gabriel has some nice throws, I'm going to say that. Why would I not say that? If Deshaun Watson got reps, he made some nice throws, I'm going to say that. Like, what are you talking about? So my thing, I had a big, long rant and argument about why is it that we can't all come to the conclusion that if Shedeur makes a great play, say it. If Deshaun Watson makes a good play, say it. If Dillon Gabriel has a nice play, say it. Like, at the end of the day, you as a grown man, you should be able to.
Your credibility's on the line if you don't.
You should be able to say that as a grown man. So, that's the thing. But in terms of Dillon, he got, it's funny because he got more reps than a lot of people expected in that practice. Because
does that say anything to you?
Well, I'm looking forward to, man, that's why you got to ask. This is why today is very poignant because now
interesting to see.
It's very interesting to see what he's saying because now I'm looking at it, okay, was this you trying to move Dillon Gabriel or you trying to get a look at him to see, okay, are you going to be a viable long-term backup or should I give Taylor Green some more reps or if Deshaun was struggling earlier, because I thought like this, Deshaun was struggling so much and Dillon Gabriel was getting more reps. I said, well, if Deshaun keeps throwing interceptions, what if they just move on from Deshaun and they leapfrog what's the name? Or is Dillon Gabriel gonna get more reps? So my thing is, we'll see. I think this week is gonna be very interesting at practice. I think Todd Monken's press conference may break the internet because there's a lot of questions from that one day that we saw where it's like we ain't got many answers on it.
One thing I think is important to point out with this whole Dillon conversation, he didn't play well last year.
No.
He didn't play well. I thought his best game.
I was surprised his touchdowns to pick ratio was better than I remember.
I thought
he took no chances.
Yeah, I thought his best game was his first game
against
Minnesota.
I thought Minnesota was his best game, and he steadily regressed from that. But two things are important. Number one,
QBR.
Number one, like I said, the entire organization was on board with this. This wasn't a Kevin pick. Kevin's the only one who's gone. Everybody else is still there. That was on the decision making to take him.
Right.
So they're still here. And secondly, he wasn't supposed to play last year at all.
Right.
They had 2 veterans in front of him.
He was a project.
Neither one of these guys were supposed to play.
Yep.
But the Browns went full Browns and got rid of all of them.
Yep.
Can I ask y'all a question?
They can't even follow their own plans.
I know.
So on the internet, I'm doing the shows, people ask this question. And I said, okay, we'll see about it. They've already started talking about whether or not this is Todd Monken's decision or Jimmy Haslam's decision. Where do you come out? Where do you come out on it? Do you believe that because people are saying because of the abruptness nature of it, something happened where somebody said, "Hey, this is what we're going to do."
If that's true, and I don't think it is for a second. If that's true, and the GM is making practice calls, we're done.
No,
I don't believe for a second that's true.
So last year, when Shedeur was named the backup, okay, remember there was all this talk about Bailey Zappi was going to be the backup.
Yeah.
And I wrote at the time, Kevin was telling people within the organization Bailey was going to be the backup. That was like Monday, Tuesday.
And then Jimmy got involved.
No.
Oh.
But then Thursday, Shedeur was named the backup.
Yeah.
And I was convinced somebody got involved in that. And I have checked 1,000 times, 1,000 different ways, and have been told repeatedly that was Kevin's call.
Wow.
And Kevin's call alone to make Shedeur the backup, because I didn't believe it for a long time. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
That's what I've been like 1,000 times, 1,000 different ways. That was Kevin's call to make Shedeur the backup. So going off of that, I have to believe this is Todd's call and only Todd's call. The part that people, I think, grapple with is the fact that in February, and I'm saying in March, before Todd even saw him, Deshaun's going to be the starting quarterback. So I think that's why people feel like there's more to this than just the head coach.
Yeah.
Because
that would have been a call made by Jimmy.
It was made clear to me in March. Deshaun's going, unless his arm falls off, Deshaun is going to be the starting quarterback on this team. Now, is that because that they felt like the disparity was such that Deshaun wasn't going to catch him? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe everybody knew once Todd saw them on the field, it was going to be Deshaun. I don't know. We talked about with Tyvis, on Tyvis' segment, like Tyvis said, and I didn't know this, Tyvis said Deshaun was 3 plays ahead of Shedeur.
That's an interesting
That
story.
is startling. And
we tell that quickly for those that didn't see the first hour.
Go back and watch the Tyvis interview, but Tyvis said he was, and I don't want to mischaracterize what he said, but he was told basically that they were running on similar field, on the same fields.
Same play sheet.
And Deshaun was 3 plays ahead of Shedeur.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about, like, that's why we ended the Tyvis interview
with your question.
I said, like, this is QB 101. Like, this is the basic stuff.
I will give some context. So if you, because I've been at practice every day, they do what we call two spotting. They got one unit over here and another unit, and they're going at the same time. Now, if one period where you got somebody who is a receiver or offensive lineman that don't line up correctly, or they got to step in and coach that up,
yeah,
they're gonna be behind.
Yeah.
Like if one guy busts a play over here and they got to explain to him, now the period is still running.
Tyvis didn't say that's what happened.
Well, look,
could have happened? Absolutely. The length of a play could also impact how fast a play is run.
Yes, but if they're looking at it,
but if all things were equal and all plays were roughly the same amount of time,
if you don't have, yes, if that part is, but there is context that if somebody does mess up a play, they do have to take time to go back to the line of scrimmage and finish it again. So but in context, I don't know what Tyvis is speaking in terms of who he said that from, because Tyvis, he does things.
He
for
said
the
that story was told to him.
Yeah.
So it's the game of telephone.
So we'll see. I think I'm interested to see apples for apples. I want to see one person get in a huddle and how many drives you complete.
Yeah.
How many times you move up and down the football field. Then I want to see the next person come in and see what they're able to do.
Are you a proponent, G and J, of each guy starting and getting the entire 4-quarter first game? Like so Deshaun's told coming in, this is your game. This is your opportunity to put a body work on tape that will give you the starting job. And then in game 2, they come to Shedeur and say to Shedeur the same thing. This is your game start to finish.
Give him the whole game. And I wouldn't give him the whole game.
You wouldn't give him a whole game?
No, because by the third quarter, you're playing against third and fourth stringers. You're playing
Both guys would be, though.
Yeah, but
so
it doesn't
it's apples
matter.
to apples.
But it doesn't matter because once you're playing against,
if Shedeur comes into the second half and lights the world on fire, then the discussion is, well, it was against 3s and 4s,
which makes it pointless.
Yeah, but if you make it apples to apples and each guy gets a full game,
I wouldn't.
That's the case for both guys.
You got to get everybody else ready for the season too. I would not do that.
And two, I guess if you got two guys that if it's still an open competition, potentially that's your starting quarterback. Especially given the fact that I don't know how they would deal with it. You got to realize Deshaun has not played in a game in 2 years, and he played
last year, didn't he?
No.
He didn't play at all last year?
No. He has the shoulder. He has 2 Achilles. I wouldn't put him in for an entire.
Well, count the games he's played in the last 6 years.
19.
17.
He's played 19 in a Browns uniform.
That's insane.
19.
So they definitely wouldn't put him out there. But what I would do though,
half.
I would do it a half, and I would switch it up. Like if I gave him a half, and then the next game the other dude gonna start, and then we gonna have you come in a half, or you go into the third
So each
quarter.
guy gets a chance to go against the
Yes,
third and
once.
fourth teams?
Yeah.
Each guy gets a chance to go
These
half
guys
against
got
the
the
first and
reps.
second team.
So, yeah, but a whole game is a little far-fetched. I don't think they'll ever do that. I
All
just
right.
think they wouldn't.
Jay, I think by the second game, we've got a decision. After the second game in that next week, would you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, I think this is coming into focus.
Todd Monken said, I think it was at the Combine, at some point he had said, I hope to have a starting quarterback.
Oh, he won by
training camp."
OTAs. Yeah.
And that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you this. I actually think one of the biggest moments is not even, yes, the scrimmages or the game counts, but I think one of the biggest things is the Bills practice. Because when you got the reason that they didn't even go twice is because they don't want guys, after the first day, if you getting victimized, the next day is just all fights and extra revenge.
Yeah.
Hey, you better start a fight. You looking bad out here, bro. But I think that's the biggest point where things can actually change, because it's different when you going against somebody and you going in practice and that's another team that's running their stuff. If you look garbage in that period, that's the quickest thing for the coach to be like, well, we got to rethink some things. Because if you cook, now in practice, they'll, in scrimmages to a certain extent, they'll even brother-in-law in a preseason game. Because I remember one time, I think, was it Freddie Kitchens or somebody came out and told the other team, hey, we're going to come out and we're going to work on no huddle. We're going to come out 5 wide. We're going to go down the field 2 minutes. We just want to let you know we weren't trying to boat race you. We're just trying to work on some stuff. They're going to run vanilla stuff anyway.
Right.
But guess what? In that inner squad scrimmage, oh, no, it's going to get cheapy and it's going to get heated, and that can actually switch a lot of things as well.